Welcome to the Lay Low Pod, the podcast that keeps it real while you figure things out. I'm Erin, and let's lay low. If you're in a season of becoming where life doesn't look how it used to, but not quite how it will, you're in the right place. Sometimes to grow, you have to lay low. I'm so happy you guys are laying low today. I am Erin, and I have guests with us today. Somebody I am so excited for you to meet. This is my cousin Jade, and she lives in Houston, Texas, in the Woodlands. We were just talking. So, Jade, I think you are what, 6 or 7 years older than me? Which one?
I think I'm 8 years older than you.
I was
born in 73, and we're
Okay.
both born in November. So
Yeah, and I'm 81. So why did I feel so you're turning 52 this year?
53.
Well, I am proud of us that we are on this podcast. We are streaming. We have audio. We have visual. We have our do you have your coffee, girl?
An hour ahead of you. I've already had about 12 cups of coffee. Like, I'm on my water. Okay.
She's on her bougie water that we have to fight for her at all
My
times.
bougie water.
Yeah.
Even when I was poor, I drank this water.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. We're going to talk about being poor, being rich, and all the in between. But before that, I want to do a little right now round. So tell me one thing. I don't want you to think about this too much. So what is one thing that is bringing you joy right now?
I feel like my immediate family is moving in the direction that they're supposed to be.
Like they're progressing down roads that you're excited about. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's, I finally see this next step in parenting where it's not so hands-on for me. Like, now it's up to them to do. And that makes me happy for them and for me. Because
I am excited for you to be an empty nester, Jade. You are going to thrive.
I am too. And I'm really excited about this next phase of life. Not that my children are not important, and they'll always be hugely important, but they're becoming adults, and so it's time for them to go make their way. And this is mine and my husband's time,
Yes. Before we even do that, Jade, I got to explain a little bit about us, don't you think? Where should we go?
Oh, yeah,
should we
definitely.
What should we do?
Well, I think what the most interesting thing about our relationship and our family is come from a very bonded family. And I can remember it was always exciting when your family was coming to town to see our family. Like, the whole family was excited. My grandparents were excited. My dad was excited. We were excited. Like, it was just always a lot of fun when the Sunheimers came. But we grew up, even though we're second cousins, our dads are first cousins that were raised pretty much as brothers.
Yes, our grandmothers are sisters. And I think we have to
Yes.
start there because you and I we're like the
Similar
next
to our grandmothers.
generation. Yes,
Mhm.
we're both very much like our grandmothers, and it almost kind of skipped a generation with our dads. They are both first cousins, but my dad is an only child and he was raised with his cousins. So his two cousins are just younger than him, and they are his little brothers. Without a doubt.
Yes.
They were raised together.
Yes.
So then we are second cousins, but we were raised like first cousins, I would say.
Yes. My grandparents felt like you guys were their grandchildren, and they felt like
Insane.
your dad, they were so proud of your dad, and, I mean, my grandmother would tell anybody that would listen that your dad was a doctor. I mean, anybody that would listen. I mean, she
Well,
loved that brag.
they came from a very, very, very rural part of
Yeah.
Southeast Texas, and
That
Jade,
was
I
their
hope
flex.
it's its own world in Vidor, Texas, where our dads were raised.
Your mom, to me, was the original Martha Stewart. Like, for real. Like, your mom was
Yes.
Martha Stewart before Martha Stewart was a thing,
She'll love that. She'll love that, Jade.
And your mom also was like the first adult in my life to encourage me to read, which sounds kind of crazy, but I can remember your mom bought me the whole first series of the Sweet Valley High books. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, Jade. I
Yeah.
love that. And reading is my mom's number one love and hobby. She has this pink
Yeah.
couch in her bedroom, and she reads on this pink couch, and that's her spot. So I love that. Sweet Valley
And-
High. I wasn't allowed to read Sweet Valley High. I would read them.
Well, y'all were Mormon, and she's like, I'm going to go give that to the Methodists and Catholics.
Okay, so Jade, you and I grew up. We had such opposite lives. for so long, and then we had this, like, parallel life together, and now we're living the same life.
I mean, you were just always my little cousin, right? We were kind of the bookends of the cousins. I just remember you and I getting married at the same time, except I was almost 30 and you were barely 20.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we got married the same year. Our kids are the exact same ages. So we were doing these monumental life things, even though we had this 8, 9 year gap between us. Age wise, we were doing these big life moments at the same time. I also think that you were part of that generation of women, even though you're not technically Gen X, you're like the elder millennial generation. I think that there were still a lot of societal norms of how women gender roles and what they were supposed to do in marriages. And I think we both fell in line with that in our first marriages. And I think it didn't work for either one of us. And it didn't truly resonate with our true self purpose as much. It didn't check all those boxes for us. And I think
I
we also had that awakening at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
And so,
I never really connected that. So I just always that was so big, Jade, because we lived such different lives growing up because I
Mhm.
was being raised Mormon and you were not. Because remember, my dad is not Mormon, never has been Mormon, and
Right.
Jade is my cousin on my dad's side. So, like, I had this whole side of my family that I loved so much, but not in the church at all. And so, Jade and I, even though we have this age difference, here we are both getting married at this time, having two boys at the exact same time. The whole part you just said about the traditional gender roles, it's so true because it doesn't work for either of us because we are our grandmother's granddaughters, and I don't think it would have really worked for them now. I mean, it didn't work for my
No,
grandma even at the
not
time.
in not in today's age, I don't think. I used to beat myself up a lot and wish that I didn't have this internal need to always be vocal. Like life would have been a lot simpler if I didn't just have this thing that like I've always needed my voice to be heard.
I mean, I think we both got married before we even really were completely ourselves, too.
Oh, 1,000%. And but I don't even know that I could have even known that about myself. I'm so envious of my best friend's daughters. Like it's just the young 20s girls, man, they don't have to settle for anything. And it's quite impressive. And I envy that. And I'm like, y'all, they're tapping into who they are 20 years earlier than I did. And I think
Oh
it's
my
so
gosh.
cool.
Just this week, I got 2 different messages. One girl who is Troy's age, and then Sabrina, my niece, both wrote
Yes.
me really, really sweet messages about the podcast and how seeing my journey and how I was in my 30s when I was having some of these experiences. They just both said in their own ways, like, "I love that you got to do that and that I get to do it earlier." And I just was
Yeah.
like, I just want these girls to know that, that life can be whatever they want it to be. And I want to get back to what I originally asked you. We're going to get sidetracked, Jade, and that is just you and me when we do our little coffee chats. We do this all the time, though. Our weekend will be like, hey, girl, do you have time for a coffee chat? We'll do a Saturday or Sunday morning little call with our coffee on the patio. But take me back to your kids. Tell me about your two boys.
I have 2 boys. My oldest is now in Utah with you guys, and I love that. And he is happy and living his best life. And then my youngest he graduated from high school in May, and he's about to leave for the University of Arkansas in 27 days. Not that I have a countdown on anything or not. Not that I know the exact moment that I'm going to be dropping him off. I've been divorced literally 10 years to the month, is when
And
everything went
which
down.
is 2 years before me. So you were the first person I went
Yes.
to when it came to the logistics, Jade. I had watched you restart your life, literally start over.
Yeah. I woke up on July 1st, 2016, and had one life. And by the end of the day, I had a different life. And that's a whole other story. But I had to figure things out real quick and tap in to a side of myself that I had not had to tap into, since it was like the grind time of college and that hustle and first jobs and all that type of stuff. And I had to tap back into that person because I had been pretty much a stay-at-home mom. I worked for my ex-husband's business and helped him, but I didn't receive a salary. I did work, but I didn't get necessarily paid for it. So I had to go and like basically start a business, figure out how I was going to support myself. First of all, I want to say my mom was like my rock and my support. And so this was really one of the only arguments we got into, but she wanted me to do the traditional route where I go get a normal job, 8 to 5, benefits, like she wanted me to take the safe route and just something, every fiber of my core knew that I could not do that. I was coming from a place of I cannot start my life all over and be in something that I hate and I hate going to every day. And so I dug in, and one of my best friends from college, we basically started this staging business, and it just kind of morphed, and then got my real estate license, and then it's just evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved. And if you could have told me 10 years ago that basically the real estate brokerage that I kind of wasn't allowed to go to in July of 2016, I'm now the operations director and I run the place.
Do you ever, like, think back and just have a little moment where you're like, "I created this." Like, you 10 years ago, you had none of this, and then in 10 years, you've really manifested and created everything that you have right now, one thing at a time, Jade.
I imagined in 10 years my career being in a different direction than it is. And it's different than what I imagined, but I'm so wildly happy in my current role and what I'm doing for work. It's so gratifying and so fulfilling.
The boys, so you got divorced. Now tell me about, your blended family, because I do think that you have created your own little special family the same way that I hope to have that at one point, but
It's
I wanna hear the story too of Mr. Bill.
I think, we've all come a long way. I'll say that. It took a long time to get here, but I think that, my ex-husband, his wife, and my husband, Bill, we all love these boys, and we all want them to have their best lives. Kellen and Caden, they have, stepsisters over there, so it's kinda cool because they now have sisters. I can very much see now where you know, they get so many good things over there, and I think they get some good things here, and I think it's made them very well-rounded people. I have a lot of appreciation for their stepmom. She's a real stickler for manners, and I'm sometimes like the ultimate boy mom in the sense that I'm just like, I don't care, whatever. But she's kind of like your mom. And so there's a lot of little things that have been so good for them that they do over there. I think the main thing is they know they're loved by a lot of people.
That is what my dad always says. That's so funny you just said that, because during my divorce at the end, you're just like, "How in the world am I gonna do this?" Right? The advice my dad told me very early on is he said, "As long as the boys have love, they're gonna be fine." And it came
Yeah.
from his childhood. My dad never met his biological dad, and you ask my dad right now, he had so much love as a child. Was the most blessed boy because he had so much love. And maybe that's how I felt when I was born and I had this crazy blended family, but I always felt so much love. And you being able to recognize that with your ex-husband and his wife, and just it's more people. I love that angle. That's something that people can really think, "Okay, I can work on feeling more that way than feeling anger or sadness or
Yes.
resentment or anything." We can choose how we view any situation.
Absolutely. My mom told me in the very beginning of this thing, because I grew up with my mom and dad divorced, and she said, "Don't get your feelings hurt if the boys don't call you when they're not with you, because that means they're happy. If they're being present with their dad and stepmom and that side of the family, if they're not calling, that means they're having a great time and they're getting all their emotional needs met." And 10 years later, I can see the arc of it all, I guess. and I can see how full circle it's all come.
After Jade's divorce, she kind of became a little stay at home.
I was a
she
little bit of a hermit.
she she created the cocoon concept before I did, really.
Another key difference between us growing up, you were married and a mom at 21. I was on the bar, drunk, dancing, wild as hell at
Very,
21.
very, very good point. We
I
have to point that
loved
out.
college. I loved college. And I was in college in the 90s in the greatest era of the whole world when there were no cell phones and you could do whatever you wanted and nobody knew the next day. So I didn't even have the urge or desire or need to go out. I just wanted to sit on my couch and if I wanted to binge watch an entire rerun season of The Real Housewives of Orange County, and you have to also remember, Aaron, I was starting a career. So I was working my butt off. I was grinding hard. I mean, I was putting in sometimes 10, 12-hour days. So when I got home, man, and if the boys were with their dad, I just wanted to chill. I just needed to recharge my batteries.
I do remember you were just so happy staying home. And then I remember all of a sudden you started telling me about this guy that kept calling you.
Well, I mean, he did the I love him. When he watches this, he's gonna be like, "Babe." But he did the cheesy Gen X dude thing where they hit you up on Facebook. Bill's best friends are married to my best friends. So
Tell me how tell me how. Okay, I am
he
the
knew the
bigot.
second that we were separated, right?
Okay.
And
Well, wait,
he
wait,
didn't
wait.
like week 1 message me, but pretty early.
Wait, wait, wait. We all know that I am the biggest Mr. Bill fan, but tell me how you and Mr. Bill met cuz it's so
Oh, in
good.
college?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, this is pretty awesome. I was in a sorority and he was in a fraternity, and our fraternity and sorority were having a mixer. And that's kind of like where, just those two groups get together and have a party, basically. And the
I
theme
was
was
always so I was always so jealous you were in a sorority. I at BYU they don't have those. I looked up to you so much. Like you were always the coolest cousin. And your sorority sisters are still your best friends. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, college, I have no doubt that God in the universe sent me to the college that I went to. Like every big relationship in my life centers from going to that. It's kind of amazing. Almost all of my important friendships, even meeting the boy's dad, I mean, that was indirectly through a friend through college. My career, like every big part of my life, where I live, like everything stems from the decision to go to college and join that particular sorority. I mean, I think about it, if I would have pledged a different sorority, I would have had a completely different life. It's wild. So the mixer had been going on for a while, and everybody's drinking, underage drinking in college, and this guy walks in and he just kind of beelines it over to me and my friends and just starts talking to us. You know when a guy's into you, and clearly I was into him. And so it was a theme party and it was around Halloween. So everyone was dressed in Halloween stuff. And even in the 90s, girls dressed slutty for Halloween. It's just kind of a rite of passage.
I'm going to be 60 still dressing up slutty for Halloween.
I was cold. I mean, because it's October. And he literally gave me the shirt off his back. And so our first photo that we have together, I'm wearing his shirt and he's not shirtless. He had a shirt underneath. So he literally, the first night I met him, he gave me the shirt off his back. And that's how we met. I was like, this is a good guy. And he's a good guy.
So then you were Facebook friends, and after the divorce, he reached out.
So he messaged me something stupid like your hair is still so beautiful, like something real cheesy. But then like every birthday, Christmas, whatever, he'd be like, tell your family I said hello, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. Not at all flirty, just kind. And then that went on. I'd hear from him about every 3 or 4 months, like some sort of little comment or whatever, kind of blow it off. And one of my best friends, Julie, was like, would you ever just go out with Bill as friends? I was like, I guess so. Like, yeah, you could set that up. I go, but I'm not kissing him. There's no way we're kissing." And she's like, "Jade said, like, we could all go out." And she goes, "But she said she's not kissing you." And she said that Bill was like, "Okay, whatever." And like, so we arranged this, triple date really because our other friends and husband went with us. That was on December 21st, 2018. And by the end of the night, we're making out like in public, like ridiculous, you know? And so I totally not only kissed him, I made out with him in front of like hundreds of people. And then we haven't been apart since. And we got married exactly 1 year later to the day on December 21st, 2019.
But hearing all of your backstory, I think you and Mr. Bill are just such a great couple. We're very close. We see each other probably 2 times a year. I'd say you come here,
Yeah,
I
we
come there.
try. Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
we'll probably more, especially now that my oldest son is living in
Yes, I
Utah.
know. He just popped in the other night while I was playing mahjong, and I was like, "Sorry, buddy." I had a nice little Love him. Okay, well, let's get into our topic today because I think this is
Okay.
gonna be so fun. So one of the things when I think about you and me and how similar we are, it is kind of our careers where we are now because you and I both we were working during our marriages, but our husbands were making the majority of the money, wouldn't you say? So then when we started over with our lives, the financial side of it was very scary for me and I know it was for you where
I
at
didn't
that
even have credit. I couldn't even lease a place by myself. My mom had to co-sign for me. Like, I mean, it was,
yeah,
and I even think
yes.
about that and I'm like, that is so crazy that with my personality, I even allowed that, you know?
Right. And I think there's a lot of people that want to go through a change or want to go through, making a big decision that could alter their life, but they're scared of the financial side of it. And so, really, today we're going to talk about things that we do that make ourselves feel rich, that makes us feel like we are
Hmm.
the main character in our life. And I think as we do that, we just naturally attract more of what we're looking for.
I agree 100%.
So I read this book. It's called We Should All Be Millionaires, and it's by Rachel Rogers, I want to say. It really got me thinking about how I was going to make money in my new life, right? And we both dug into 100% commission structures,
Whew,
which is
yeah,
crazy, right?
it
Which
is
I know
crazy
it creates a lot of gray hair for us,
with no
but also
benefits.
no, I know. So Jade and I have both worked 100% commission since our divorces. And so I think money mindset, when you are in that kind of role, when you're starting over, when you're trying to make new financial goals and new career choices, it's just such a good thing that you can focus on because in this book, she talks about how you have to feel rich before you are rich. And I remember reading this book where I definitely was waiting for that next commission check. Jade and I just really creating an energy in ourselves where we were open for anything, where we could visualize the life that we wanted and we have created that decision by one thing at a time. I'm watching this show on Apple TV right now called Margot Has Money Problems. Have you heard of it?
Yes. Yeah,
Did you
I started
have you
watching
watched
it.
in episode 3, so she's this young girl and she has a new baby and her dad comes and she all of a sudden has a babysitter for the first moment and she like goes in her car and she rolls down the windows and she blasts the music and she like has that 15 minutes of freedom where you're just like hell yeah, like I am just in my moment. Do you have those times like that?
Absolutely. It's a very I it's strange, but, like, if I hear, like, Rage Against the Machine come on, like, something lights up in me, and I'm like, "Let's go." So I'm driving in my real, mom sedan, like, car, like, jamming down in my very suburban area to my very suburban office job, like, sometimes jamming out to, something that someone would not think that I'm jamming out to at all.
I love it. I love it. But to me, that's like a moment of main character energy where you're just
Yeah.
feeling yourself.
Main character energy for me is being able to be free to be me. I do have kind of a big personality, but I haven't always been able to believe that in myself. And so I think having the freedom to truly just be myself. And it's not that you don't care about other people's feelings. It's not being cocky. It's not that, but it's having the confidence to just truly let others know how you feel in a very honest, authentic to you way. And that to me is main character energy.
Being who you really are and also being in the moment as well and just
Yeah.
thinking, "Okay, yeah, I might not have this perfect life and everything might not be figured out, but in this moment, it feels so good, and I want more moments where I feel like this. If the windows are down in my car, I have that song blasting where I feel free. I'm telling myself, Aaron, I want more moments like this. Create
Yes.
a world that creates this feeling more and more. And I think when you feel it, even in that little 15 minutes in the car, any moment we can feel that way, it just attracts more moments like
Well,
that.
it raises your vibe, right? It raises your vibe. Whenever I learned basically how to control my energy, right? That changed my life. Have to learn that, right? And so mornings are very important to me. Like my husband Bill, he does not understand why I wake up at 5 a.m. when I really don't have to be anywhere till like 8:39, right? But I need an hour of time in the morning to just not talk, to tap in to God and my spiritual side, to do a meditation. I have to get my energy here because the world's going to pull you all day long, all day long, all day long. And the more I get here, I'm an asshole. I'm no longer the main character energy that anyone likes to be around, right? So I've learned I have to start here so that as the day pulls me up, I'm able to maintain this and never get to this point that really no one likes. I feel like that energy is where I lived at for a long time. And I blame myself for that in my life with my ex-husband and when my kids were younger, that I didn't know how to bring it all down.
We don't wanna be in that heightened energy, but I also think when you're not living your real life, which you and I weren't doing when our kids were
Correct?
young, and I'm sure you've had the conversations with your boys as well, where it's like, I wasn't always the most patient mom, and I'm sorry, but I was
Mm-mm.
at a time where I was so not living my life, and I felt just so off
Yeah.
track that it's hard to keep yourself in a good energy, Jade, when we're way off track, right? So that's why alignment is so important. Being where you are, being where your feet are, and really living an authentic, aligned life can help you stay in that energy as well.
The little saying, vibes don't lie, right? If something feels off, it's off. My dad has preached to me my entire life, listen to your gut. That is your intuition. If you tap into like, the spiritual side, I personally think that's like, for me, the Holy Spirit being like, yo, girl, this isn't right for you, you know? And I've also figured out that listening to that and changing the direction, it doesn't mean you have to actually know 100% what that direction is. It just means that you trust and you turn and you make the change.
You make that very first step, and yes,
Yep.
it's that Brené Brown book, Into the Wilderness, where you are looking into a forest and you cannot see much ahead, but you can see
Yes.
one step at a time, and that's when little
Oh,
changes became big changes in my
that
life.
I'm glad you said that because when I was getting divorced, and this would also drive my mom nuts because my mom's a planner and my mom likes to know what's next, know what's next, know what's next. And there were some moments where I could only figure out what I was doing in that day. And then the next day I'd wake up and figure out that day. And then getting through that day turned into, well, I got to get through this week. And then getting through this week turned into like, okay, well, this month, this is what's going on. And then I became able to manage it all. But in the beginning of making a big change, I think you just can't put that burden on yourself of having everything figured it out. Like it's going to unfold as it goes.
Yeah, it's too much pressure. That is so funny that you do the hour with your coffee too, because I am the exact same way, Jade. And I completely agree. It just starts the day off in such a different energy when you have a minute to yourself and just a minute before you have to go be anywhere. So let's go off of that. vibe. And let's talk about other things that we can do in a day. These are not things that need to cost money. Yeah, maybe some of them do, maybe a lot of them don't, but let's talk about things that we do in a day that make us feel main character, that make us feel rich so that we can attract more of those moments. Chipper's my son's dog. Whenever Colt would come for his custody time, he would bring his puppy. So Chipper has loved me from the start. When he came to me last summer, it was just easy for us to kind of
Yeah.
get in our groove. And we do our little morning walk together every morning, and I put on my headphones, and that's just my music time. And I started having kind of a mantra song that I would start my dog walk with. So I go out the front door, and the sun's out, and I see the mountains, and the sun's typically just coming right over the mountains right outside my door, and I have whatever song that I'm vibing with at the moment. You know, I could listen to the same song for a week or for 2 months before I'm like, "Okay, I'm ready for a new song." But I pick a song that just is in tune with how I'm feeling, whether I want encouragement to myself or if I'm just feeling so happy. You know those times where you're just like, "I am
Yeah.
so happy, and this song is just making me happy." A walk and fresh air and a mantra song literally makes me feel like the most powerful woman.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting you're talking about the walks because, I I walk every morning. I try to be out the door by 6:45. And so, because in Texas, if you don't get out by then, you can't walk. I don't necessarily always listen to music. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast. Sometimes I'll talk to my mom. Just the fact that I'm 52 and I can call my mom and dad. I mean, gosh, how rich am I? Like a lot of people my age
Amen.
can't call their parents
Amen.
anymore. So, especially in my 50s, I'm really tapping into talking to my mom and dad daily. That's, a different type of rich that I can appreciate. But I will tell you what I accidentally did, and it brings me so much freaking joy. Is I figured out how on Apple Music, I've created a TikTok playlist. Have you done this?
No, I'm not really on TikTok, but I should
Well,
be,
you know I
huh?
love TikTok. But
I know.
so you can like literally save the song and it creates a playlist. Any TikTok music you like, you can create a playlist. My playlist is wildly random, right? But it's so fun. And so it I don't know why, but that playlist makes me so happy because it really makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
You said the playlist doesn't make sense. My first thought was, it doesn't have to make sense. You connect with it and it makes you happy.
Yeah.
And we don't need to have everything make sense. We're allowed to be in the moment and we're allowed to just enjoy. And look at the world. There's so much negativity and so many things bringing everybody
Oh,
down. If we can find some joy in an unpredictable playlist, hell yeah. Another thing that I do that makes me feel high vibe and main character is getting dressed even when I don't have to get
yes.
dressed.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how, you see people who work from home and don't get ready, and I think that that's fine and works for people, but I love getting dressed every day to the T and going to the office. I don't know why, but I just love it.
I'm not a work from home person. I need to be around people and I really enjoy thinking about what my day entails and what type of outfit needs to go with that. I really do. I enjoy that too.
And it's connected to confidence because I have to show up and run a company and be a leader every day. I have to be my most confident self every single day. And if I'm not feeling good with what I'm wearing
Mhm.
or my hair or my skin or my jewelry, anything, if I'm not feeling good in myself, I'm not able to be my most confident version of myself as a business owner. So for me, it's so connected. I mean, I will have a slobby day once in a while where I wear a hat to the office for whatever reason, but I don't work the same when I'm like that.
Agree. I agree. I think it definitely goes a long way in making me feel just confident about any conversation or any type of interaction with somebody that I need to have throughout the day.
I love when I am traveling that I use that as an opportunity to manifest. Like when
Mhm.
I used to stay in really crappy hotels, like basically whatever I could afford. I didn't put any extra money into hotels. I would just get bare minimum. And then as I started making a little bit more money, I started putting more care into what types of hotels I stayed at. And it seemed like the nicer the hotel I would stay at, the more my career progressed. And I don't know if I just made that up or what. So now I love great hotels.
There is a theory in real estate, like they kind of are like go buy the car because
Really?
the attitude is if you feel confident driving up, that raises the vibe and everything. And so that's why you'll see most realtors, they're not driving around in a Honda Accord. Like they're driving it, they'll go buy a used BMW before they'll buy the Honda Accord, the more practical car, because it's just it there's something mentally they're trying to sell and buy houses with that type of person, so they're trying to mirror it, right?
I do not connect with my car right now, but I hate car shopping, so I'm gonna
I
just
like
put
your
it
car
off.
right now. Is it still your Infinity?
Yeah, I still have my Infiniti it has every sensor is off right now, so I just ignore it, but but yes, eventually, I'm gonna level up the car for what about fresh
Oh,
sheets? I love fresh sheets, and I love a clean house, and I know you do too.
yes, that is something my space has to be organized. I cannot function in chaos. I don't have to have the biggest home. I don't have to have the in the fanciest neighborhood, but I'm going to have the nicest home in my neighborhood. Like I'm going to curate it where when I come home, I feel proud and I feel happy and it's my safe space. And I've
Oh
always
my
been that since I've been an adult and had my own places. Like I've needed it to feel that way.
I love that, I'm the exact same way. I think that it does not matter at all what your home is worth. I am so you've been to my townhome. I am so happy in this townhome. I've made it my own perfect little home where that is price matter what the dollar amount is on your home. Like, you can make it feel like your mansion. When I moved to the city, so 6 years ago, I moved here and I needed a cleaning lady. I have worked my whole adult life, and I always told myself as long as I was working, I could have a cleaner.
Yes.
And in the country, the cleaner was coming once a month, and that was just how it was my whole life. Well, when I moved to the city, I started having her come once a month. I had to work
Mhm.
it into my budget, Jade. Like, I had to give up other
Yeah.
things to have her come once a month. But I just knew, I said I had to have a safe, clean, organized home or I won't be able to go out and make money. I just knew how much it connected. So I told her, her name's Carmen. She's a little angel. I said, Carmen, the more money that I make, the more I'm going to have you come clean. And I told her that from day one. And,
I love
then
that.
she started coming every 2 weeks, and then she started coming every week because now she does the laundry too, so she comes every single Friday, and Jade, I will tell you, when I look at what I spend in a month, the amount of happiness she gives me and just, like, safety and peace, like, she helps me keep my home, like, such a safe spot where I
Yes.
can go out into the world and be my best self, where I can make the
Yes.
most money and be the best version of myself. It's priceless to me what that costs.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things like you're providing something for her too. Like you
Aw,
you
yes.
are you are helping her life. I mean, I'm sure you're a lovely person for her to work for, number 1. And 2, you're helping her. This is her
Yeah.
career. So you're helping her as well. So I think that's so amazing.
That's what I think of when I order DoorDash too. I'm like, well, I am supporting a small business because this restaurant is a small business, and then I'm also helping out this guy who is making extra money, and
Yeah.
then I don't feel like a big lazy asshole.
Yeah. I think you're tapping into something is like your mindset about it, right? Someone else might right now be like, oh, such a loser. I ordered DoorDash or gosh, I really like should start cleaning my own house. They could turn it all into a negative, right? Where that's the shift in the mindset. That to me is when you are choosing to see the good and the positive in a situation instead of automatically going to the worst case scenario or the bad in it. That is main character energy for me at least.
Girl, yes. Amazing. That is
And
such
and, and there's anything you could do that with literally anything. There's a good and bad to anything. It's how you choose to view it, you know? And you can look at anything and find the blessing in it, or you can look at anything and find the negative in it. It's what you choose. And I've realized as I get older, especially, I'm very intolerant of this. I can't do the people that constantly are gonna find the negative in a situation. Those people have exited my life one by one,
it's
and it
so true,
hasn't been a
and it
conscious
happens
thing.
naturally.
It
It
happens
happens
supernatural.
naturally.
I love them. I just can't do it. It's a
Yeah.
choice for me. Love you, go live your life, but I can't live in that. And pretty much everyone in my life is very similar mindset to me, or I can't be around you a whole lot.
You have aligned yourself with like-minded people, and I think
Mhm.
it's the same as when we tell our boys, you have to think about your friends, you have to think about the
Yep.
people that are in your little circle because they affect you, and I think with this topic, if you have people coming into your life negative or just bringing you down, that shift happens naturally where they don't really like to be around you because 'cause you're so positive. You don't really like to be around them because 'cause they're so negative, and those relationships change, and it's okay. It's okay to let them go live their life and you
Yeah.
continue to grow and change in your positive direction.
Well, I've learned just because you don't have a close relationship with somebody anymore, I've also learned that that doesn't necessarily have to mean anything bad. It just means that you don't have that relationship with them anymore. I lost some very dear friends during my divorce. I mean, unfortunately, people pick sides, right? And I still have so much love for some of those girls, but like, they were my ex-husband's best friend's wives. I get it. Like, those friendships were made through him. Like, I understand that. Just like he lost some of the friends from my side. I have nothing but love for them, and I want nothing but great things for them, and I want nothing but good. And I feel that that's what they want from me too. But it's okay. It's okay to not have that relationship anymore and everybody just move on with their lives. It's okay.
Yes, agree completely. I think one of the best things anybody could do right this moment, this day, whatever age you are, whatever stage of life you're in, is just looking at a random Tuesday and saying, hey, I'm going to take this random Tuesday and make it the best that it can be. I'm going to do something to take really good care of myself, whether it's
Mhm.
wash my car, go to Chick-fil-A, do something. Those are two things that make me really happy. Just an average day doing something to make it feel good, leaving the office an hour early to go sit on your patio and finish your emails, putting your phone on do not disturb to actually watch something.
What I've learned is life moves so fast, right? Like, I can't even believe it's July. Like, this is crazy, And like, it seems so far out for me to come visit you and my son in October. That's right around the corner. Like, we're going to blink and it's going to be here. So you have to take every single day and recognize that it's a gift because you only get that day one time in your whole life. And so you have to really look around and appreciate what's going on in that day. And I think about that all the time. It makes like when you miss people, like I miss you, I miss my son, and we're going to be in October, we're going to blink and we're going to be there, right? And I'm so excited about that trip. And
I am too. Well, you're coming for Ella Langley, right?
well, I am, and I know that I love her, but I don't know if you know this. My mom actually introduced me to Ella Langley, and, I started listening to her, I don't know, last year sometime, and I one night, we were in Port Aransas, Texas, at our friend's amazing beach house. I just wanted to go sit outside on the swing, one of those moments you're talking about. I didn't need to talk to anybody. I didn't need to tell anybody what I was doing. I just went down there by myself and just put on Apple Music on the speaker and just was listening to my own music and just kind of in my own little world. And I just put on Ella Langley radio, right? And that was the very first time I heard the song Be Her. It kind of makes me get choked up now And when she starts getting into the chorus of the song and she's like, I just want to be her so bad, it hurts so bad. I started crying because I'm like, I'm her. I'm finally her. I'm 52 years old and I'm finally her. And it was like one of those moments that it all came full circle. And I know that I have so much more growth to do as a person and a human and as a wife and a mother and a family member. I know all that. I'm not going to quit growing, but I am becoming or I am the person that I'm supposed to be. I'm on the right track. And that felt so good in that moment. And that song made me realize like all these decisions, all these things that I've been doing, this is correct. I'm on my right path.
That makes me teary-eyed. That is so beautiful because you are her and you have fought to be her, Jade. You
I
have fought to
have.
be her.
I
I am
I
so
have.
proud of you. I am so proud of you. I know what you've been through.
Because there was an easier way to not be her. I would have a lot more money. I might have a financially a different life, but that wasn't what I was supposed to do.
That peace is priceless, Jade. It's really just about paying attention to your own life and just realizing that the little moments that we are in on an average Tuesday, that is what creates our story, what creates our life. And we spend so much time waiting for the next big thing, the next promotion, the next chapter, but life is just happening right now. So you are such a
Yeah.
great example, Jade. You are such a positive influence in my life. I hope you know that.
Oh, well,
I have looked
you
up to you my entire life, Jade, and that will never, ever stop. I love you
aw,
to
I love
death.
you so much. I love you so much.
I do. Well, thank you for laying low with me
Thank
today. You have
you for
you have
having
to
me.
come back. Promise me you'll come back another day.
I'd love to come back, and I'd love us to do a very, silly, maybe Bravo cap.
Ooh, we can talk a Bravo day. We should get our moms on here because both of our moms are Bravo girls too.
Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. My
Love
mom
it.
would
Well,
never be able to figure this out ever.
we would have to help them with the headphones. Well, we
Yeah, she
barely
would
figured
never.
it out, Jade, let's be honest. Okay, I love you.
I
Thanks for laying low with us, and we'll see you next time.